I want to start at the very end, and we'll obviously go through what made this such a big comeback and all that. But at the very end, how similar to what Jake did in the game-sealing baseline jumper, how similar was that to 10 days ago in Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of the opposite version of the game, but a very similar ending there with Jake hitting a big shot in a similar spot.
To what was supposed to happen on that? Was it the same basic kind of? I didn't really see a screener come up late like at Grand Canyon.
No, we didn't give him a screen. We just, I had him in the wrong spacing where they were able to get help to him and get it out of his hands. And the first time we did it, so we tried to give him the whole side where it was harder for them to double. And he just, got enough separation to get it to go. Big shot by a good player.
You've answered this enough. I want to ask about the young thing, but like he seems too young to have any thought in his head that he's too young to be doing this. Like freshmen aren't supposed to do that 2 times on the road in conference games. Have you ever seen him have any hesitation as a freshman? I know you haven't had any hesitation in him. Has he ever had any hesitation as a scorer?
No, he's got a lot of confidence in himself, and we got a lot of confidence in him. And he hit another big shot, but I thought Dayton Albury changed the game in the second half.
Dayton Albury, 9 rebounds Tuesday, 8 rebounds tonight. I know that's not going to be his go-to down the stretch, but let me start with the rebounding. Like, why is he rebounding the ball like that?
I just think it's his engagement. I thought he was really good. His engagement was really good against Grand Canyon. I think he looked at some film after a couple of losses and felt like he could step up in some ways, and I think that you're seeing some of that on the glass is one of them.
All right, the rest of what Dayton does, though, is the kind of running the show and kind of that aggression at the rim. I know, and I kind of mentioned it in the story, that I think some fans get kind of frustrated with him when he does that, and it doesn't net successful, layups or get the foul. But it is what he has to do in this offense, right? He has to keep doing that. Now, you want the result, I know. You'd rather him finish, but
sure, I'd love for everybody to make every shot and never turn it over, but that's not how it works. And Dayton's playing good basketball, and when he didn't create for others as much, like he really got to the basket, and we felt like we left a lot of points on the board in the first half. We had it around the rim a bunch of times, and they're a good defensive team, but rim protection isn't their specialty. So, we a little emphasis on being a little stronger around the rim and finishing, and he's good at that. And a couple unbelievable offensive rebound in traffic and finished, and I thought our bigs did a nice job of kind of varying their angles a little bit to get him loose. He made a play by himself where he stole it and scored when, he was awesome. He just kind of willed us back in it, and then a bunch of guys made plays from there.
What was it that created the deficit?
It just didn't feel like us to start. Just, we kind of had Luke had a careless turnover that turned into a dunk. That's not typically how he plays, or, and again, nobody's even perfect, but we just didn't quite have it. I don't know. I thought we had good days of practice, but we did talk about we've had a little bit of a break here. We had a bye, and then we had a game that there's pretty big separation in, and so just kind of preparing ourselves to get back up to the level. Like maybe we weren't there, emotionally, to really compete until at least for the first 15 minutes. I thought the close to the half to get us kind of within striking distance was important. But we did have some good shots that didn't go. They made some shots. There's a deflating nature to some of that when it's,
well defended.
You miss a good one and they make a tough one, or it's a guy that we don't mind shooting who's knocking down shots. So appreciate just kind of the steadiness and competitiveness, but we can't put ourselves in that situation. But a lot of that I felt too was our inability to finish around the basket. So if you miss around the rim, that's you're vulnerable to transition. I thought they got out a little bit, maybe not full on transition, but where the ball got loose early and they were able to spray it and play with advantage. And obviously they were hitting shots early. So we talk about it all being connected. They're making shots, so we're playing against half court and not finishing. They're getting a little transition, and I thought they played great early and kind of built the lead. But we got a tough group.
Tomasov, speaking of not finishing at the rim, I mean, he had a lot of misses within 5 feet. He showed his frustration just right here on this end of the court and slammed the ball down. Anything going on with Tomasov that would explain that, or is it just a kind of a rough stretch right now?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously didn't play his best game, and I'm sure he's frustrated by that. I didn't see the play on the technical, but the best version of us includes him playing well, and that wasn't the best for him tonight, but we're going to need him down the stretch, and I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Yeah, you guys have had each other's back quite a bit. Antonio did have a little bit of a scoring lull for a few games, and Dayton had a couple high turnover games, and I asked Jake if it's sort of like a next man up thing. It's not really a next man up because it's the same starting five and all that, but you guys seem to have each other's back pretty well. Is this group kind of connected like that? When somebody's down, do you see them sort of picking up for them?
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah, our group is connected. We have really high care factor. They're competing, and so not everybody's going to play great every single night, and if we have everybody play great, I like our chances, right? But that's not how it works. And so it's different guys, different nights, and sometimes you kind of find the solution. Tonight wasn't Tomislav's night, but JT hit 2 huge threes as we came back. Uriah, I thought, was awesome defensively, but it wasn't his. He didn't have a huge night. He was great defensively, but he didn't have a huge night on offense. And Da stepped up. Luke had a couple big plays. It's a team thing, right? We have a lot of different guys. I think we've had a bunch who have been our leading scorer, and so I think when it's kind of one of those things of it's amazing what you can accomplish if nobody cares who gets the credit. I think we got guys who share the basketball and they're just trying to make winning plays. Does
it matter that your next game is a really tough opponent, another tough environment, or at this point they're all so meaningful for you guys? When you're a team that's trying to get in the tournament, games like this are as meaningful as games on Tuesday, depending on how the outcome goes. So I'm just curious if Tuesday's any different than this game and how you prepare and how you approach.
No, I think they're all the same, and it's nothing but good teams. We don't have anybody who's not good, and I think if you look at the standings in Fresno, you can get the wrong for where they are. You can get the wrong impression about how good that basketball team is, but at Nevada is a tough test. We know how good they are. We played a super competitive game with them at the pit, but every game is huge, and we gotta play good basketball on a possession-to-possession basis to get to where we want to be.
How similar was that play and that shot to 10 days ago in Phoenix?
Yeah, very, very similar move. They got it a little different. He's trying to force me middle into the double, but I knew I could get to my spot just like in GCU and just rise over him.
How close was it at the end to the same spot?
It was probably pretty similar.
Within a couple feet, right? I mean, it's got to be pretty much the same spot, right?
Maybe.
Looked like 2 defenders at the end had a shot, or at least were trying to block it this time.
Yeah.
You just had the 1 defender last time, so now you're doubling it up on defenders.
Yeah.
Look, this was a game that you guys gave them every chance to win. You guys did everything you could to kind of dig yourself too big of a hole, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Why were you guys able to chip away, not let a 22-point deficit, which was the biggest by the year, by the way, that's your biggest deficit. Why were you guys able to not kind of succumb to that and be able to come back?
Yeah, I mean, just the maturity of this team. I think, we got great leaders. I mean, Luke Hopp's one of the best leaders I've been around. Dayton's one of the best leaders I've been around. I'm so proud of Dayton. He played his ass off today, and especially in the second half. And, he was the really, he led the comeback for us. We all feed off of Dayton's energy. He's such an important player for us. So shout out to Dayton, shout out to Luke. Man, those guys are great leaders, and this team wouldn't be where it is without them for sure.
Dayton, by the way, 8 rebounds today, 9 rebounds on Tuesday. I mean, I guess the guy's he's the new Tomislav on this team, right? He's a rebounding king. All right, let's go back to the beginning. We know you guys came back, but what was it about them able to get such a big lead early? Was it them? Was it you? Obviously, it's a combination a little bit, but what was it more about?
They played their ass off. It's hard to come on the road and get a win in the Mountain West, no matter where we are, no matter, the crowd. They played their ass off. Like I said, they hit shots early, and, maybe we weren't ready. I'm not sure. We prepared well, but just so glad we could get the win, man. It feels great.
I am curious a little bit if you guys knew that San Diego State lost before the game. So you guys are now tied for second.
They lost? What was the score?
I don't know what the score was, but they did lose. And I asked that obviously because if you guys come out slow, people want to know if you guys are distracted by anything. Sometimes it's just hard to play on the road.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe that's what it was, because early on it wasn't that they were not being defended. It wasn't that you guys were taking bad shots. It was sort of a culmination of all that at the wrong time. Is that what you guys are kind of taking it as?
Yeah, I mean, we came out and got all the shots we wanted, and they just weren't falling. Chol got 3 great looks to start the game, and if we're going to get Chol 3 great looks, we're taking that every time. Sign us up for that. He's going to hit at least 2 of them most of the time. And, we just have great belief in, our shot making, and they weren't falling, and we knew we were going to score enough points to win this game. We just had to, lock it on the defensive end and, just not give up second chances.
You guys did overcome Antonio having 3 or 4 games of struggling in scoring. You guys overcame Dayton having a couple games where he had a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
Tomislav now is kind of, hasn't been great around the rim lately. Like you guys are kind of like being able to figure out ways to get over these slumps because there's a lot of you. I'm curious if there's a mindset of kind of, I don't want to say next man up, you're the leading scorer anyway, but like you guys all seem to have each other's back when one of you guys is struggling.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just speaks to the character and maturity of this team. It can be anyone's night on this team. Luke could go for 30. Dayton could have a game like he did today. Man, he played great. I don't know what he ended with, but he definitely 21. Yeah, he led that comeback for sure.
You weren't even the leading scorer today.
Yeah, it speaks to the depth of our team, man.
All right, you guys have to turn around quickly, obviously, and go play a real tough one in Nevada.
Yeah.
But at this point, does the fact that it's Nevada and on the road even matter? Like they're all tough at this point, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just another game for us. We got to go out and handle our business. We're going to prepare the same way, go through our routine, and hopefully come out a little faster than we did today.
How good is that backcourt of theirs, though? Zion and Jake. I mean, they weren't together when you guys played the first time, but they were obviously today. I'm curious how good those 2 guys are.
Yeah, I mean, 10's great in the pick and roll. I mean, he's so good at manipulating the defense and, using his body, keeping defenders in jail. And then, the big also does a good job at, kind of Gortat screening the big. And Collins can, snake through the defense. He did a great job today. He was hard to guard in the pick and roll. And Heidbreder is good as well. I mean, he can score the ball. Really good shooter. Super fast release. I mean, he gets it off really quick. And he's crafty around the rim, too. People don't really give him credit for that.
All right, you were good about this earlier in the year. I'll ask you one thing about the managers because it's Manager Appreciation Week. Tell me something about these managers. Like they have more rebounds than Tomislav on the season. So like, tell me something good about your guys' managers.
I mean they're all great, all 4 of them. They do such a great job, and I can't thank them enough for all the long shootings and everything they do for us. So they're definitely the hardest workers in the program. Shout out to them. They do a wonderful job.
And they put up with all you guys.
Oh yeah, that's probably the hardest part.
That's actually probably it, right?